Hi, I'm Owen, and today we're going to be doing a quick hip opening yoga session. So we're going to start off in a seated position, cross-legged, allowing ourselves to sit up nice and tall. The hands can be on the knees, just over the front of the knees. And we're going to start with a bit of a cat-cow to help warm up the hips and also the spine. So sitting up tall, we can link this up with our breath, allowing ourselves to have the hands for support as we inhale to lean forward over the legs. Chin can lift slightly above parallel as we draw the shoulders back. Exhale to round, bring the chin towards the chest, leaning back behind the pelvis. Inhale to lean forwards, opening up with those shoulders coming back. Exhale to round, chin to chest. Inhaling forward for third and final time here. Exhale to round, accentuating this opening. Inhaling back to center. We can extend both legs out in front of us here, sitting up nice and tall. And then draw that right foot in towards the inner left thigh, letting the knee fall out to the side. Looking down the leg, the left leg, in front of the foot, we can sit up tall, inhale those hands above the head, exhale to tilt forward into our half butterfly pose. And we can stop at any point here. The hands can be on the thigh, we could be on the shin, the ankles, or the foot. Not forcing our way down, and try not to round down on that leg. Tilting forward as opposed to rounding down. And we could stay here, or we could walk those hands out to the right hand side, coming to about 30 to 45 degrees, possibly walking the hands further forward, maybe bringing them in a bit closer. Keeping a nice gentle inhale and exhale. And slowly walking those hands back to center, over that left leg or foot. And then not forcing things, but again having the option to go over to that left hand side of that left leg this time. Hands back to center over the left leg or foot, drawing the pelvis forward again, and then inhaling to rise up, bringing the hands up and exhaling them down towards the side. We'll help that right leg up, extending through the right leg. We can continue to face the front of the mat, though I'm going to turn for clarity. Keeping that right leg straight this time, sitting up tall. We'll have that left foot come in towards the inner right thigh, falling out to the side. Allowing ourselves to look down the right leg, in front of the right foot, inhaling those hands up, exhaling to come down towards the right foot. Maybe we stop again on the thigh, the shin, the ankle, or the foot. Chin can come to chest lightly. Tilting the pelvis, not rounding down. Breathing into that belly region with our diaphragm as we have the option to walk the hands out to our left hand side. In between the gap between the legs. Then walking or sliding those hands back to center. Draping over that right leg this time. And then possibly staying here or continuing over to the right hand side. Without cranking and forcing too much, a bit of a twist here. Bit of internal rotation of that right leg, which can just be that little bit trickier, that little bit more intense. And we'll walk those hands back to center over that right leg or foot. And we can inhale, bringing the hands up, exhale to lower down with care, helping that left knee up, extending through both legs out in front of us. Then we could either swing the feet out to the side, or we could bring our ankles crossed and then roll over them to come into a tabletop position. We want to be in a position that we can stack our knees and hips, our wrists and shoulders, shaking those hips side to side. Then bringing those knees and hips back in alignment. We can bring the feet together, the knees as wide as the mat, Walking those hands back to allow the hips to come towards the feet, keeping a relatively straight spine again, using those straight arms for support. Then we're going to inhale that right hand up towards the sky, exhale to bring it down between the left wrist and left knee, threading the needle. We want to have that right shoulder down here, possibly resting the head just so it takes the neck and the head's weight on the side there as well. Having the option with the left hand possibly to reach behind us, going towards that opposite inner right thigh or hip crease, and then drawing that left shoulder back to open more into our twist. Just a few rounds of breath here. Then removing that left hand from that bind, placing it back down by the side of the head and chest, and inhaling to bring that right hand up towards the sky. Exhale to lower with care, placing it down again in front of us, settling in to our child pose legs. And then with that right hand planting fingers nice and wide for support, we can inhale that left hand up and out to the left. Exhale to soften, bringing it through the gap, threading the needle between that right wrist, right knee. Left shoulder comes down if we can, resting the head on the side, possibly bringing the right hand back behind us if it's available to us, to grab towards that opposite inside left thigh or hip crease, drawing that right shoulder back as we do so. And taking our time to bring that right hand out of the bind. Right hand plants down, then inhaling, we'll push that right hand, untwisting, bring the left hand up, exhaling that hand down towards the mat in front of us. We'll walk those hands forward, bringing ourselves towards the mat into a child's pose. We could rest the forehead down, we could rest the chest down. I'm going to stay a little bit higher so the mic remains clear. And clawing into those fingers, we can help get those hips back up, planting those hands back for support underneath the shoulders, bring the knees back beneath the hips. Shaking out through those hips if necessary. And then with those hands, we'll just bring them about another hand's distance in front of us. We'll curl the toes under, pushing into those feet, pushing the glutes then up towards the sky into a downward facing dog. Pedaling through the feet. Then looking forward between the hands, we can lean forwards, bring that left foot forward onto the outside of the hands. Bringing that right knee back to open through the gate of our nice downward facing dog to lunge routine there. Drawing the hips and the pelvis forwards and down. Really trying to enjoy the lunge, opening through the psoas, keeping that left knee from straying out to the left. And we'll curl that right toe under to help slide and push that right knee in. Lean into the right, we can swing that left knee back behind us, pushing into those hands, curling the toes back under, and then coming back into a downward facing dog. Pedaling out those feet. And looking forwards, we'll come forward with the chest, using our hands for strength, bringing that right foot forward this time onto the outside of the hands. Drawing that left knee back to open the gate of our lunge as the hips drive down and forwards. In Yin Yoga, this is known as a dragon pose, and I always think that's quite well named. It tends to be quite an intense one, quite a fiery one. So just making sure We keep it to a level that's acceptable to us, making sure that right knee doesn't splay out to the side, keeping it tucked towards the torso. Then we can curl those left toes under, helping to then slide that left knee in, leaning to the left. We can swing that right leg back behind us, shaking through those hips. And then we can bring those feet together, knees as wide as the mat, returning to that nice child's pose. Dropping the chest down, hands in front of us. And clawing into those fingers, we can help bring the hips back up with the hands. Bringing those hands back beneath our shoulders, bringing the knees back beneath the hips, and then either swinging the legs out to the sides or rolling back over crossed ankles to come into a seated position. Feet are out in front of us. And then bringing those feet together, hands come out to the sides for balance. We'll draw those feet in towards the hips, the knees fall out towards the sides. Sitting up nice and tall. The hands can be on the shins, ankles, or the feet. If they're on the feet, we can open the feet a little bit. That can feel good. And drawing those shoulders down and back, we can take a nice inhale to lift through the crown of the head. Exhale to tilt forward over those feet. And that might be marginally. It might be significantly enough that we can bring the hands out in front of us. We can keep walking them out if it's available to us, coming onto our elbows. Allowing ourselves to really get that nice tilt. Breathing into that belly region which we've opened up the room for that breath to draw down into with this pose. Having the majority of the breath into the belly. And if we're on our elbows, we'll come back to our hands. If we're on our hands on the floor, we'll walk them back towards the feet. Sitting up tall, we can help those knees back up, bringing our feet towards the floor. I then recommend that we just come side onto the mat, allowing ourselves to sit onto the edge of the mat, feet a little bit wider than the hips, knees bent, leaning back onto our hands. So we've got our fingertips pointed behind us. We're then going to do some windshield wipers, letting those knees fall towards the left, trying to really draw that top knee in, so that right knee down, then bringing them back up, going towards the right. Sometimes this is referred to as 90-90. It's also known as deer pose within the yin yoga world, which I'm mostly involved in. But when the knees next go to the left hand side, we're going to keep them there. And we could, if we feel comfortable to, bring ourselves to bring the hands towards the front of the mat. Having a second to bring those legs into those 90 degrees, hence the 90-90 name. Hands can come out in front of us over that front leg, flexing the feet towards the knee for protection, trying to walk the hands out over that front leg, maybe coming onto our elbows if that feels comfortable for us. Breathing nice and slow and steady. Bring those hands back beneath the chest, back beneath the torso if we're on our elbows. Walking that left hand and then the right can circle back as we bring both knees back up. Setting ourselves up again just to have a couple of sways to the left, to the right, just to get a bit of movement and blood flow back. And those knees can go to the right hand side. Again, we could stay leaning back, trying to draw that left knee down, flexing those toes and the feet towards the knees. Possibly bringing the left hand round towards the front right leg as we then have either the hands over the front of that right leg or possibly walking them forward, maybe even coming onto our elbows again here. Great pose for opening up in multiple directions in the hips. We'll something that's really, really beneficial as a result. So we're here for a couple more breaths, nice and gently drawing that breath down with the diaphragm again, really focusing on that sensation, that expansion at that lower rib cage. Cannot stress how beneficial that is enough. It's so, so good, not only on the mat, but off the mat, to use our diaphragm for a functional breath as we come back onto the hands, and then bringing that right hand back behind us, then the left, drawing both knees up, allowing a bit of movement again, side to side. And then bringing both knees up, coming back onto the center of the mat, extending our legs to straight, drawing ourselves back down onto our spines. Having a second to get nice and centered in the middle of the mat. Once we're there, we can hug both knees in towards the chest. The hands can be positioned on the back of the thighs, drawing the knees in. If we've got a bit more openness and it's available to us in the hips, we could bring the hands into the shins. And as we draw those legs in, they might go a bit more out to the sides of the torso towards the armpits, trying to keep the shoulders grounded as we do so we're not reaching up and rounding. And then again, if it is available to us, we could have the right hand on the outside of the right foot, left hand on the outside of the left foot, drawing the soles of the feet up towards the sky, trying to have the legs around about a 90-degree angle at the knee. Sometimes what will happen here is people will extend up and round up. We want to avoid that, so if we find that's happening to you, then we can hug those shins in instead for this happy baby variation. Chin can come to chest, and we're just going to hold this pose for just a moment. Again, having that expansion in that belly region, the room to breathe being crucial. And then we can let go of those feet, slowly lowering the legs down if we're holding on to them, bringing the feet back down towards the floor, centralizing ourselves onto the mat, extending through the legs, having the feet about as wide as the mat to come into our form of Savasana. So for this, the legs can be splayed, letting them relax out. The arms could be similarly splayed out to the sides, palms facing up. Chin can come towards the chest, relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the hips, breathing in and out through the nose, closing the eyes, chin to chest. Finding our final resting pose for this nice hip opening session that we've had today. We'll just be here for a few moments to take your time and try not to skip this. It's really a big part of the practice, if not one of the biggest parts of the physical practice. Allowing the body to have a bit of silence at the end. So I'll have a brief moment here in silence before I close off today's class. Just a moment, we'll close off today's practice. You could stay here longer if you wish. Before I close the class, I'd just like to say how much I appreciate everyone for taking the class today and any of the other classes you may have done in the past. There's 157 of you subscribed at the moment, and I really appreciate every one of you. It's amazing to hear where you're from as well. So here on the south coast of England, it seems that these videos are getting all around the world, from Japan and Germany and Australia, India even. So if you take the time just to comment where you are, that would be really appreciated. It's really interesting to know, and I find it fascinating how these sessions are managing to travel all around the place. So thank you very much. You've got my gratitude for today. Really do appreciate it a lot. So till next time, have a great day, week, month or year. All the best.